Especially if you start to see the gizzard shad, which is about, a lot of them are about that size,
Yep.
right?
What's going on, Tim? How are you doing
We're
today?
doing good today. We want to talk some tackle.
We're going to talk some tackle.
Okay.
So, guys, this is an installation that we're going to be doing. Tim and myself, maybe we'll have some special guests. This is Dudes on a Dock.
Yeah, Dudes
or
on a Dock.
maybe Dudettes on a Dock. You know,
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
we get some females in here.
Uh-huh.
So this video is going to be kind of our top picks for fall, kind of moving into the fall transition. You know, next week we've got some cooler weather coming in.
Hopefully, yes.
So hopefully the water's going to be cooling down a little bit, and we're just going to be talking kind of our top picks. We narrowed it down to 4, so I'm sure we've got a lot more tackle that we'd like to talk about, but this is what we've narrowed it down to.
Right.
So this is where we're at. So right here, these are the Gamakatsu extra wide mouth bags here. This is what we've got our tackle in. Tim, you want to tell them a little bit more about this product?
I got this with my last Gamakatsu order. They were just available for us to get because of the we did a big order. But what I liked about them when I saw they got a wire ring around them, so when they open up, they're open. They don't mush on you. So it's like a little toolbox in there. So you look, they open up nice, so you're not like reaching around a corner to get into them. So I thought they were really cool, and it's a really good go bag. You're going to go in somebody else's boat, you can throw baits in there and go.
Yeah, and the great thing too is they've got 3 sizes. These are the 2 smaller sizes.
Yep.
So this is the 100. You've got the 200.
And the bigger one about like,
the 300 can fit, like, I think they can fit almost a 3,500 for sure, almost a 3,600 size box, and you can fit 3 of them in there. So these are great on-the-go little tackle bags. You can get them at lakeprotackle.com, guys, or come in store and get them. But definitely want to check these out. Tim, you want to get us started with your first pick?
I'll get us started. Let's start with...
start on top water?
Let's start on top water.
All right.
I got really 2 choices. And so my first one, if you've lived under a rock lately, you may not heard this, but the Evergreen shower blows, and I really like the 105. It doesn't weigh a ton. You can cast on about anything, and it's a 105 with 3 hooks. Most of the time you get these smaller ones and you get 2 hooks. I like 3 hooks on it. And if you ever thrown one before that sits kind of butt down really good, and you can walk it in one spot forever. It's just a great bait. Of course, you can't go wrong with bone. Right.
So are you throwing a braid to this? You throwing leader?
I'll do a 30-pound braid. And depends. Sometimes it depends, but about 20 to 15-pound big game mono as a leader, and not a real long one. Maybe about a couple feet or so of that. It just helps that when you walk something, that stiffer line with braid, your front hook wants to catch it when you walk stuff.
Yeah, when I first started throwing the shower blow, I found that I had to run some kind of leader on it. I was using a 15-pound fluoro, and I've had a lot of success on it, and I know a lot of our customers are buying them out. We just got a restock in these, so if you guys are interested, everything will be linked down.
That they do that nobody else does is they made it's not we don't have it, but the 77.7, which is actually a 2-hook version, but it's 77.7 millimeters.
So it's a nice small profile.
It's small, but nobody makes, that I've seen, a popper, a pencil popper, a walking bait like that.
Right.
And they're pretty much gone. I have a big order coming for them, but those are real popular also.
And Evergreen's kind of one of the companies that you get them when you get them, so make sure to get them fast when they come in stock. So make sure to follow us for those.
The other thing is that you've ever seen it before, and it's getting more and more popular, is a wake bait. And the one I'm pulled today is the 6th Sense Speed Wake. If you've ever seen it, it's pretty cool. You can burn it too, by the way. And of course, 6th Sense, they've got the meat gaff hook on it.
Yes, they come stock with amazing
You don't need to touch them.
Yep.
It's just something different. It's not a buzz bait. It's not a top water. And it's especially good for like if you got like new high school kids or something you're fishing with. They can throw it and reel it back in, and you're just going along, and all of a sudden it'll just load up and be gone.
Yep.
It's a great bait, and just the 6th Sense makes one. I think Strike King has one, the bull
Yep,
wake,
bull wake.
and
Trying to think. I mean, Berkeley even has one too. Berkeley bull
Berkeley
wake.
is the bull wake, and
Yep.
then it's just the wake bait, the wake shad for the Strike King one. They're about the
Yeah,
same,
yeah.
the same size. They're great. They're great for ponds too. If you got not a lot of grass, you can shoot it through corners and things.
For sure.
It's just a really good bait. The one that I had, it's like an old crazy Japanese one that I had years ago. It's called a Depths Buzz Jet. Same
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of thing, but it's a little thing. They're kind of JDM off way out there. You try kind of hard to get ones, but that's another great bait category to have right now, I think.
Yeah. So when you're throwing it like something like the speed wake,
Yep.
where are you going to be throwing it primarily? You going down rock banks? I know you can throw it open water. Where do you like to fish
Same
it?
thing. You would probably throw a buzz bait as long as it's not like grassy.
Right.
Points, corners, stuff like that. If you're on a grassy lakes, just edges, things like that. I've not done it. I would think it would work good if you get big dock slips.
Yeah. Railing it next to those dock slips. Depending on how far that dock goes down, a lot of fish like to set up right under the floats just because it's shaded most of the time. And I definitely love throwing wake baits around those
Big,
docks.
like if you get like a point with like really different rock transitions, like the big bouldery stuff.
Yeah.
Or the gizzard shad would see. Especially if you start to see the gizzard shad, which is about, a lot of them are about that size,
Yep.
right? And they start to do that really shallow stuff, start eating that the moss off the rocks and stuff. That's where I would throw it if you're not getting bit on some other topwaters.
Yeah.
And the stripers would probably crush this also.
I'm sure they'd go crazy for
they
that.
would, right?
All right, so
That's
we're
my
gonna go
two
in.
topwaters.
Those are your two top waters. I'm
Yep.
gonna go into my top water here. So this guy right here, this is the Bass Assets Buzz Bait. This is the 1/2 ounce. It is in the pearl white color. You know, I like to just stick with white in the fall time. You know, shad's gonna be up. I mean, bluegill are up there,
Yep.
but white is just a great top water color because it can be seen on top. You know, if I'm night fishing, I'll go black just because it's silhouette. And the great thing I like about this, I'll pull it out here. This Bass Assets Buzz Bait has an offset head, basically.
The kink in it.
Yep, so it sits a little bit lower under the water. It is pretty squeaky, so real freely moving.
Yeah.
So they built it really well. I'm not exactly sure how they built it, you know, where they got the wire, if they bent it themselves.
Yep.
But it is wire tied. So I
Wire-tied,
do
yep.
love that aspect, so your skirts aren't going to be flying
Yep.
off. But this guy, I'll fish it generally around any vegetation like pads or something. You know, we're up here in North Texas, so even around just little boulders sticking out of the water, fish will set up on that. And I just like the weedless aspect of the buzz bait and how fast and efficiently I can cover a lot of water.
And it catch big fish.
Catch massive fish.
Big fish.
Massive.
The other thing I like about this too, you showed me yesterday, is that it has a double
It does.
guard on it. It has that wire thing here.
Yep.
And the barb on it, so if you wanted to put a little swim bait on the back, or you could take
Yeah.
the skirt off and do the straight frog thing on it.
Right.
And it would lock it in with that keeper a lot better than
Oh, for sure.
other keepers.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
that's another thing. I guess I should mention. I normally fish this plain Jane, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, a buzz bait in and of itself will get bit most of the time. Like, I'm not gonna say all the time because you have to slow down sometimes, but
Buzz bait's never caught anything until you put a frog on it, don't you? You know?
yeah.
So years and years, they were never caught any fish. So,
Right.
Yeah. They
So-
can catch them with just a straight skirt.
Yeah, if I do throw a trailer on this, it's generally going to be a swim bait,
Yep.
a small, probably
Yep.
3-inch swim bait, nothing too big because I don't want them to miss that hook. But we did just get some Habusa trailer hooks in, so if you
Oh,
do
yes, we
get
did.
short strikes, make sure to pick up a trailer hook, and that is how I like to fish a buzz bait.
Right.
And this is the one that I would choose for my fall patterns here.
And I think you can get away with a trailer on a skirted buzz bait much
Yes.
easier because you're not in the way of your plastic.
Yep.
So it makes sense for that kind of thing too.
Totally agree. So you did top water. How many more lures you got in
Well,
there?
let's start. I only have I'll do the rest of mine real quick.
Okay, I've got 3 left, so
All right. I got really, well, 2 technically. With,
2 technically?
with different trailers that go on the 2.
Okay. Let me do one more then,
Alright.
because I know you had a wake bait. I actually had a wake bait
Oh,
as well.
see, he has
So
some-
here it is. This is the Strike King 2.5 wake bait. Very similar to the Berkeley. The nice thing about this guy is it is a little bit bigger profile. You know, the
That's good
standard
power, too.
forever was a KVD 1.5, and It's a little bit smaller,
Yeah.
about half an inch.
And now they're getting about that size.
Yes, so now the gizzard shad, they've spawned in the spring, grown up, fed up, and now they're about 3 inches, 3.5
Yep,
inches.
yep.
So this is still a relatively little meal for them.
Yeah.
But the great thing is you can reel it at the surface. It creates a lot of commotion.
Compared to the bigger, that
Right.
bigger one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do like to change the hooks out on these. I'm going to be honest, just straight up.
Yep.
I do change the hooks out. I get a little bit smaller hooks. That's one thing I do like about crankbaits and wake baits.
Yeah.
Is generally I'm not whacking them super hard. So if they eat it and they blow up on it, I want a smaller, thinner diameter hook to where I can get a hook into them.
Right.
And I match that with a more limber rod.
Right.
So typically a lot of people will throw wake baits, swim baits on heavier stuff. This guy, I'll size down the hooks.
Just like a crankbait.
Yes, just like a
It's top water
crankbait.
crankbait.
And the great thing is too, with fluorocarbon, if you have heavy enough fluorocarbon, you can fish this like a square bill.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you know, you put on braid or lighter line, and you can have your rod tip up, and you can fish it exactly how it was meant to be fished as a wake bait.
I fished it on braid too. I fished it with customers that come in store. The guys that have like stock ponds. So there's a lot of grass.
Right.
It's on those lakes, and so I say I just fish it with braid. So, but if you're fishing on any of these other lakes, I for sure say you could throw it probably even.
Yeah.
Because it's a top water, you could go 15.
Right.
Even 17 fluorocarbon and fish it just fine.
Exactly. The nice thing about this guy is it has a single rattle in it, and the rattle only.
Again. It's a tick, tick, tick,
dunk, 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 dunk. And the thing with the Strike King is it only has one way for that rattle to go. So it's not a free floating rattle. The rattle chamber is sideways in the bait. So it only rattles side to side. It doesn't rattle forward and backwards.
The bull wake's the same way.
Yep. So when it makes those wider turns, you know, depending on your reel speed, that's how the rattle will sound in it.
Right.
So that's number 2 for me. That's the wake bait. KVD wake bait, 2.5.
Okay.
Where you at now?
All right,
What you got?
Let's go with my last 2 with some addendums. So we recently got this is kind of a new bait we just got in the store that people were mad that they took it away and then they brought it back. And now it's called the Jackal Bling 55. If you've never heard about it, it's an awesome little bait.
It is amazing.
So it has a kind of almost like a little light rattle trap sound to it, so they can really track it. But it's very shad shaped.
It is.
Very shad shaped, and it's got a circuit board lip on it that you can. It's not gonna crack like some other stuff you might get cracked. It's got good hooks on it.
Oh.
And for the size, it's got a little bigger hook, but it's a pretty good beefy hook. And I had a really good day on a little lake up here where I had almost a 23-pound bag, and most of them ate this little dude right here.
And that we were talking about size earlier.
Yep.
You know, with my 2.5, that is still a great size, a great imitator. And the nice thing is, it's got the flat side.
Yes, and this one you can actually kind of pop it along a little bit, almost like a fish, a little bit like a lot of stop and go jerk bait with it, and it just gets eaten. It's a great bait. It's a little on the high end for a crankbait, but it's been awesome to me. It comes with good hooks, good hardware. You don't need to touch it, which is another plus. And we got a decent amount of colors.
Yeah, I think we got 6 colors.
And I got
right?
the other one, another threadfin pattern coming in for it. So it's a great little bait if you've not tried it before. And I was fishing around docks, like over wood. If you get lakes with like little stick-ups, you can kind of high ride it through it pretty good. And it's been pretty good around wood and stuff. It's not the best, but it works pretty good.
Yeah, so I can tell the bait, you know, it doesn't have a giant lip on it, so it's not going to deflect super easy and super wide off cover. But I mean, with the bait design, with the flat side, it's not making drastic, you know, dives and dips and turns. So I would think, you know, you can easily rip it through grass. And I think, you know, we have a couple craw colors in.
Oh yeah,
So
got it like a dark craw and a crawfish. Like a dark craws are really kind of a dark red with a little flash, a little puff, of orange on the end. The craw's that kind of almost a fire craw color.
Yeah,
it's a cool color. So that's a cool bait.
And I think that's another like underrated color in the fall time. When you get into those darker craw patterns like the browns and even like greens. I was fishing up at Texoma recently, and we got bit on the mule color, which is Rapala's like really light brown, like super light brown. So it's not, you know, root beer or dark brown crawdad.
So my last bait right now, right, is a swim jig.
Can't go wrong with the swim
around the docks and the shallow stuff in the wood, because you can reel it through anything.
Yep.
And you can do so much. You can vary it so much. So, and that's why. So you got to get something white or something shad colored, right?
Of course.
Really good. And then I like even swimming a black and blue, little stain water. Sometimes they even like the black and blue better, I've noticed.
Exactly. I think one of the big things too is water temperature. When it comes to that, a lot of the fish will be transitioning fully as that water cools down in that cleaner water. And then, you know, as fall goes on, some of them tend to like that warmer water, like kind of the pond behind us, it's a little dirtier, so that black and blue would be perfect.
And then a bluegill pattern, straight bluegill, right? So, and that's kind of, I mean, pretty simple.
Trifecta right there.
Right there. And I actually like it. This is a 6 cents, but it could be any brand of swim jig. Actually, I like the heavier stuff in the fall. Even heavier than this sometimes if you can get it.
So those are half, and you like
half
5/8
or something like that, because if you get around the floating docks especially, you want to have a little sink to it,
right,
where you can get it underneath a float, and and you can reel it faster. And in the fall, you want some speed to your stuff. You want it fast. Don't give them a chance. And it's just a great bait. I've told the story to Sam before. I fished a BFL years ago in Missouri in Lake the Ozarks, and I drew a guy, and he said, "What are we doing? We're going to throw jigs at docks." And he actually threw a 1 ounce football jig with a pocket chunk on the back at docks, at dock floats, just the edges of shady sides. And he reeled it as fast as he could, and he was, I think, in second place the second day, and he had a second pounder. So that really opened my eyes to the speed and what he was doing, and I applied it, and it works. If you try something like that, and now they make in the rockets and the 8-to-1s, they weren't back then. So you can even go
10-to-1
faster now.
Right.
So, and that speed can be the key to make a big fish come out and get it. So they don't have a chance to look at it. So
you can't reel faster than a bass. Like you watch videos of like smallmouth come out of who knows where and then just blow up something.
Throttle it. So the other thing, to go along with it, I have 3 choices for trailers. Right. A boot tail, a skinny dipper. Can't go wrong with a skinny dipper.
The skinny dipper is one of my favorite finesse swim baits.
It's just, it looks great. It looks like a shad, right? The other thing I love right now, and if you know, if you're a swim jig guy, it's just a menace grub. The menace grub, what's awesome about it is that you can rig it flat or you can rig it vertical.
Right.
Vertical. So I'll pull one out.
Make it look more like a fish's tail, or
rig it like this on your jig flat, or you can rig it like this on your jig, like this.
And it swims.
And it swims. It looks like a bait fish. If you're trying to make it skip, flat's pretty good.
Yes,
I rig it flat mostly. I just think that they can see, and then that white, I like a white color.
If I want to keep it up in the water column somewhere, I'll lay it flat. That way the pinchers work with me.
If you're getting behind dock, like dock walkways and stuff, flat.
Definitely.
Because you're going to be shallower. So, and then the other thing, same kind of principle, just a different action, right, is a structure bug. The same thing.
Yeah.
A structure bug, you can actually rig it flat too. Some of them are two-tone, but more the solid colors. But it's the same thing. I've seen videos of Andy Montgomery. He throws them on chatterbaits all the time.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So they're going to work on a swim jig too.
I think the great thing about the structure bug is it kind of has that dual, the dual action on it, where it's got the big pincher and it's got the little pinchers.
So that's what I would put on a swim jig, and that's my choices for fall right now.
Awesome. All right, guys, we had a brief intermission. Truth be told, the camera actually shut off, and I had to look at the footage.
I don't mind anymore.
Yeah,
I'm done.
You're all done. I get to do my last 2 lures here. So, Dudes on a Dock, Part 2, Episode 1, all in one video. So it's really not a Part 2. So, this is gonna be my 3rd lure. This is one of your favorites.
Yep.
This is the Lucky Craft LV 500. And the great thing about this one is, first off, the rattles. It
is
jam
loud. Loud.
Yep. They're gonna hear it from a long ways away. Another great thing, it is a 3/4 ounce. So comparatively in size,
half-ounce size.
It's a half-ounce size. So it's a 3-inch bait, and you take something like the Strike King Red Eye Shad in half-ounce. It's basically the exact same size. The Lucky Craft, which I like, they have a little bit more bait fish profile to them.
Yep.
The Strike King, I'm not trying to pick on Strike King because I love their Red Eye Shad. But this one's going to be a little skinnier profile. It's going to put off, I imagine, a little less water.
Yep.
But with that 3/4 ounce, you can chuck this thing forever.
Yes.
You can fish it any depth range, rod tip up, heavier line, lighter line, rod tip down. You can go fish the, 7-foot range. I mean, you can yo-yo it.
Guys will yo-yo it 20 feet.
Yeah.
It plays in the wintertime too.
Yep. So as a fall bait, I love covering water. All my baits are around the 3 to 3.5 inch range.
Right.
And where I'm fishing in the Metroplex, I fish Louisville, Grapevine a lot, Eagle Mountain. Most of the bait doesn't get to a big, ginormous size.
Yep.
You can find lots of gizzard shad that are bigger size, but I've seen some that are 4 or 5 inches.
Right.
But when they school, like the big giant schools,
Yep.
you're getting them in around this size. Come stock with amazing hooks on them. And one of the cool things is the front hook is actually a little bit bigger than the back hook.
Yeah.
So when you're deflecting off rock or wood or something, that back hook is normally what catches the wood or whatever you're fishing. So with that smaller hook, you're not going to snag up as much. So this is also gunmetal shad.
Yep.
It's got a great bait fish pattern, and what you like is the reflective scales on it.
Yeah,
What do you call that?
It's like their American shad pattern has that scale pattern. It's like it's glued on there, so it kind of acts like a matte kind of a look and a flash look at the same time.
Yep.
So it's that color's got a lot of things going for it. All like 3 different colors, and you can use it in a lot of different water colorities, I think, too, because of it.
Exactly, yeah. Dirty water, clean water, it just looks like a shad with a blue top, and the nice thing is a chartreuse belly.
Yep.
So as it's going through the water like this, that flash is going to be going, and it's going to draw in a lot more bites.
Yep.
Now, I think one thing that I would change with it is I would make most of it white and just have a puff of chartreuse.
Puff at the end, yeah.
A little puff of chartreuse.
Yeah, there you go.
You're talking about that with the bling.
Yes.
So, my last bait, it's a crankbait. So I've got top water, wake bait, crankbait, and I guess rattle trap can be fished wherever you want it. This is the Berkley Fritz side.
Yep.
Number 5.
Number 5, the biggin.
The biggin. So they make the 5, 7, 9, and I think they make
and the biggin.
And the biggin. So this guy here, again, it's going to be it says, let's see, 2 inches, 2 and 4/5 inches. So almost 3 inches. These come stock with Berkley Fusions.
Very good hook.
Very good hook. Very
strong.
Stout hook.
Yes, for the size too.
Yep. So when I'm fishing this, I will normally throw it on 12 pounds.
Yep.
But I can easily go up to 15 if I'm fishing heavier cover,
correct,
wooded cover. Yep. And those hooks, I can lay into them. I can take a 7-foot, 6 cranking rod and just smack them, get them in the boat.
Load them up. Yep.
So this is also a flat-sided crankbait. So it's a Fritz side. It's a flat-sided crankbait.
Very flat too.
Yes, it's one of the skinniest crankbaits you will ever find.
Yeah.
And the paint job on this one too.
Yeah, this is the HD color.
Yes, the HD Threadfin.
Correct.
Yep. And it looks exactly like a shad. It looks like they took a shad and slapped it on the bait.
Yep. Glued it on there.
So the great thing about the flat side, in my opinion, is it has that tighter wobble, and it's got a bait fish imitation like it's swimming. So a lot of the time, you take like a normal square bill, it's going to have a very erratic action. You're going to go for a lot of reaction bites.
A lot of wide wobble to those things.
Yes. So this one is going to have a little tighter tracking action, and you can also jerk it around. We talked about this yesterday with flat-sided crankbaits. When you add pauses and twitches and something just straight reeling, you will get a lot more bites because it triggers them. Unlike a wider wobbling crankbait, when you do that, it keels off in some weird, odd direction. This guy is going to have a real tight pop or
And
twitch.
I don't think it necessarily needs to hit something with it either. You can
Right.
fish it off of something, and you can impart the kind of action a little bit more so than say like a regular
Totally
square
agree.
bill. Yeah.
Totally agree. So this one, I would love. I love fishing in open water. I don't
Yep.
have to hit anything, but if I am banging
You
it
can
up
still.
against stuff, you can definitely do
'Cause
that.
the lip on it has a little flare to it too. If you can
Yes.
see it, so it'll protect the hooks pretty good. Too.
Yeah. So Tim's talking about the flare on the bill. It's not a square bill. It's not straight down. It actually goes out and probably a 30-degree
Yep.
angle out from
Yep.
the bait. So it's got a wide tracking action. Also, this is a slow rise.
Yep.
So in the fall time, I normally will do a little bit slower fall, but
Yep.
when you mix in a rise in there and you're twitching it, it gives it more of a goes down and pops back up, goes down and pops back up.
I would kind of explain a little good way to explain it too would be kind of like a shad wrap and a
Yep.
square bill kind of got married,
Yeah.
and you can do a little bit with both of them, I think.
Yeah, best
And
of both worlds. Hannah Montana.
Yeah,
Whatever.
there you go.
Miley
Yeah.
Cyrus, I don't know.
Well,
So that is my fourth pick. So
great pick.
you've got 4 awesome picks:
Yep.
top water wake bait,
Swim jigs.
swim jig,
Yep.
and
little bling.
the little bling flat
Yep.
side.
Yep.
And I almost
Yeah,
exactly followed
almost
suit.
the same stuff.
Yeah, so this wasn't planned at all. I told Tim go pick out your 4 top fall lures, and we almost settled on the exact same ones except for top water.
Or spinner bait, which will still work really well.
Yeah, I really debated on the spinner bait
Yeah.
versus another crankbait because I was like, man, I love cranking and
Yeah.
covering water in the fall.
Yeah,
I was just trying to hit on the covering
I like
water
it.
part.
It works.
So I guess we have a little bit of time. Going into the fall season, water temps are still low 80s.
Right.
They haven't gone below that 70 mark, and generally, fall
Here, yeah.
transition. What do you expect? How are you going to be approaching that?
I just want to get a cooler. I think it's going to pull the shad up and pull them to the surface more,
Yep.
especially in the mornings. I
For
know
sure.
recently they had the high school on Texoma, and I heard a lot of the early bite was the deal, and I
Yep.
think it's because of the cooler night, and it pulls that shad up there.
Yeah, next week it's going to get down to the 50s at night.
Yeah, it's going to be really change some stuff, and hopefully we have a normal winter this winter coming up. Where I know last year it got kind of cool in November, but December was very, very warm.
I
and
think
until
they're
January.
predicting another really cold winter this year.
I hope. I like cold winters.
I like cold winters because it makes no one else on the water. No
Correct.
one else wants to go in the
Nobody wants to
water.
go fishing. That's right. Only crazy people go. Yeah.
Only crazy people with
Yeah.
life scope, apparently.
Correct.
I wonder how OHIV is going to do this year.
Oh.
I mean, it got blown out the past 2 years, 3
Yeah.
years almost, and they're pulling out giant fish almost every day.
Yeah. Still, they are. It's probably going to be good still. I would think. I heard it got a little. They had a little more rain. With
Yeah.
that last rain we had out there in that West Texas, they got some rain, so it dirtied up a little bit. More so back up the river part of it. That's what I heard the other day.
Yeah.
About OHIV.
Well, we also have another reservoir opening up.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So
You've probably not heard, then you can tell.
yeah, if you haven't heard, Squaw Creek, it's 30 minutes northeast of Granbury,
Yeah.
basically. So down by Mineral Wells
Yep.
area. It is a power plant lake. It's been closed for almost 3 years now.
Yep.
So those fish haven't really seen
A lure.
lures in 3 years. So this is going to be absolutely insane.
Nuts, yeah.
So it'll be like if
Yeah.
someone opens up Monticello again. So those of you in Texas or out of the country maybe, or out of the state if you're watching, Squaw Creek will be amazing.
Yeah.
It used to be much better. I know that for a fact,
Yeah.
but still when I was going there in college, because I was only 30, 40 minutes away, I mean, we go there and have a couple hundred fish
Yeah.
days with a bunch of 3 to 4 pound fish.
Tell them how much it costs to launch, though.
Cost $30
to
at the
launch.
gate.
Yeah.
You have to book in advance.
A month.
Yeah, a whole month in advance. So the way right now, they opened up registration and booking September 1st.
For October.
My battery died on this, so we have audio from here now.
Yeah.
Great. So, yeah, like Tim said, it's a whole month in advance. So get your tickets or get your reservations in. All right, guys. This camera audio just died, so we're gonna do an outro here.
Yeah.
So Tim,
Dudes on a Dock, Volume 1.
Dudes on a Dock, Volume 1.
Over.
Yeah, so this was really meant for us to give y'all honest opinion, just dudes on a dock talking about fishing. You know, fall transition, that's what this one's about.
Right.
Hopefully we'll do a winter one, a spring one, a summer one. Do it every year, and if we got something cool we want to talk about, if we get a big shipment of baits or something, we'll do dudes on a dock and talk about more tackle.
Yeah, we got some. Well, the new one, the Macbeth just came in.
Yeah, Macbeth just came in.
Yeah, that's the new thing that came in recently. Some more of the Megabass stuff's coming in. More of the spinner baits.
Oh yes, when the rods and we get a whole Megabass load, we'll do some dudes on the dock about Megabass.
Yep.
All right, Tim. Well, thanks for coming out, taking some of your valuable time to look at tackle and talk about tackle. So, guys, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube here. Tim, make sure to call in. Like, you've got any questions about fishing, Tim is an excellent resource. He's been fishing forever, loves fishing, super passionate about it. So, call in. If you need tackle, let us know. Order online, come in store, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Thanks.